Okay, hello everybody. This is Ben Chiriboga, the Chief Growth Officer here coming to you with another Nexl Business of Law Fireside Chat. I am very, very excited to sit down with a fellow Chief Growth Officer, Lavanya Behl, who is the CGO and co-founder of LawWiser. It's been such a long time. Lavanya, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, it's been ages, and I'm really looking forward to this chat. I know we've been planning this for like almost 2 months.
I know, definitely. It's going to be very exciting. I'm very excited to talk to you. We won't go into it for sake of brevity, but it's been a while since we spoke, but we've all both had very big personal life as we were catching up things. So yeah, it's great to see you and great to be talking to LawWiser again. So today we're going to be speaking about legal billing and kind of the trends specifically around legal billing in India. So that's really exciting. I'm glad that we're going to get the chance to do this. Where Why don't you tell a little bit about the background about how this came in? You were telling me about the general counsel report that LawWiser just put out. And why don't you introduce, of course, LawWiser and the great content and its aim and mission?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I was thinking I'm going to start with that. So, just one line of intro on me first. So, like everyone knows, I'm Chief Growth Officer and co-founder LawWiser. Basically, I'm a known lawyer, working with lawyers all the time. And I landed up into the legal industry by chance and sort of just decided to stick around and make something of it. So now I guess it's been good number of years. LawWiser is essentially, I mean, yes, we've evolved into many things, but at the core we are a knowledge sharing platform on everything law and policy. And our goal is to simplify laws for businesses and help them understand the applicability of various policy and regulatory changes that keep happening. And obviously along the way, so we do a lot of content which we've always been doing. We also do events now and knowledge sessions, a whole lot of discussions. The idea is to build a community of lawyers that can stay connected. They can build meaningful connections. They can exchange ideas. And just contribute overall to each other's careers in the profession and just the way we understand law. So that's LawWiser. Just to get into how we came to speaking about legal billing as a topic. It's so the background is that we recently did a general counsel report called the GC Insider, and it was so the aim or the theme rather was basically uncovering the key drivers of law firm engagement. So we spoke to a lot of GCs, I think 45 to 50 across various sectors, to basically understand what are the parameters of law firm evaluation and engagement and how have they changed over time. What is it that they value, what sort of pain points do they have. And then within that, obviously one of the major factors was billing. And so we kind of put this report together because we wanted to kind of take this sort of knowledge and this analysis to law firm founders and senior partners to help them better understand what is it that clients want, how are they thinking, and how are they approaching mandates.
Yeah, amazing. Do you want to tell us maybe a little bit about some of the findings? We're going to get into law billing, but yeah, tell me what was the most interesting finding that you found from the general counsel report?
I mean, it's no secret. I mean, we sort of found what we knew, but it kind of got validated. And also, we sort of understood the layers. So, for example, one of the main reasons that GCs end up changing law firms is because of quality issues. That's number one. And then lack of responsiveness. So, actually, that bit was a bit surprising because I thought, I mean, sort of that's a given. You're in a professional services industry and responsiveness is a bare basic, but apparently that is still an issue with many GCs, and I think the one of the most important factors in them selecting a law firm is obviously proven expertise and track record, in the kind of work they are seeking. And then we kind of went into, I won't go into details, but we sort of went into understanding how is it that they are assessing this expertise. Are they, is it through referrals? Are they looking at rankings? Are they looking at your website, directories, etc.? So that was pretty interesting. And then of course we went into billing, which we'll kind of discuss this as we go into the conversation. And one other important thing was just to understand that what is the scope now for startup law firms. What is the market like? Is it more open? And many GCs said that boutique firms or startup firms can be much more innovative in the solutions that they give. So I thought that was an interesting take back. Let's see. We're going to do this report every year, hopefully. So let's see what sort of insights we get next year.
Fantastic. So why don't we open up with the idea of fixed fee billing? I think that fixed fee is still understood to be kind of where the innovation is whenever it comes to actually billing. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about, how Indian companies are thinking about fixed fee? Here in the United States and here in and across the world, I think that everybody's at a different point whenever it comes to how they understand fixed fees and how comfortable they are with these ideas of fixed fees. So tell us a little bit about the Indian perspective.
So maybe I'll start with the client perspective. Because we mainly spoke to a lot of GCs, and I do meet a lot of GCs one-on-one as well. So interestingly, not a single person in the survey said that they would like to, if they had a choice, nobody would really go in for billable hours. So there is definitely a shift slowly happening. Of course, GCs do understand that, in many cases, fixed fee is not possible. Let's say it's a complex litigation or a really big M&A transaction, in which case hybrid fees come in, with some component of billable hours and some sort of a capping. These would mainly the two alternate, structures we explored in the report. I know in other markets there's stuff like contingency fee, success fee, etc. I am not sure. I would have to look into whether that is allowed as per BCI guidelines in India. Maybe not. So I think so I feel like this shift towards actually away from billable hours is stemming from the fact that now GCs are much more savvy buyers of legal services. So they themselves have a lot of experience, exposure, and they understand, they know what the expectations of value and efficiency and quality, etc. are. So I feel as their role is changing, the way they're engaging with the law firms, what they expect in terms of quality, delivery, etc. is changing. So I feel that's where it's, sort of coming up from. And anyway, like the legal department is always seen as a cost center. So there's always pressure, on them, because obviously they have to go back to their internal clients. So there's always pressure on them to sort of deliver. So that's the client preference, but obviously there is so much to be done to see how that shift is going to happen, what it needs really from both sides. And again, it depends a bit industry to industry and mandate to mandate as well.
Absolutely. I just did a podcast with Scott Lay, who is based in Canada, and he's a technology company, but a former lawyer who really helps law firms get a process in place to develop alternative fee arrangements or fixed fee arrangements. And what was interesting there is, of course, he makes the case that law firms can make more money. But at the end of the day, he said, not only is it the good thing to do based on profitability for the clients, for the law firm's perspective, it's also the right thing to do for purposes of your client relationship. And, I think that that's really interesting to think of it from a client relationship standpoint, that even if you weren't making money, even if it was 5% less, isn't it the right thing to do over the course of the relationship with the client and the service with the client. And yeah, it's something that really stuck out to me. I don't know if you had anything there. Yeah.
Basically, the issue is trust and communication between both the sides, because it's why do clients want a fixed fee is because they want to be able to control the cost, they want to be able to estimate the cost. That's on the business side. Now the other thing is that they probably don't trust that lawyers are really being pushed to be efficient. And then like, so a lot of GCs mention, and I have not obviously some of the quotes were anonymous in the report. But the struggle is that every time they are billed, they feel sometimes they overbill, sometimes they, are double billed. Once a GC told me that, there was a matter in court, and they were supposed to have like a partner signed, and I was not supposed to be present, but something got cancelled, and I landed up there and I saw there was some junior associate. So the problem is that for the GCs, it gets really cumbersome to check, to sort of moderate, and all of that. So I think it sort of causes friction, right? Then every time you have to bill for a task, and there will be hundreds of them in, if you're doing volume of work with a client or doing complex work. So then that friction sort of affects the relationship. So I guess you just have to do a cost benefit analysis, that if you let go of, let's say, an X% over time, if you have a great relationship and I think a trust with the client, how is that going to help you generate more revenue over a period of time?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so why don't we shift a little bit? And I think that there's a discussion around the role of technology. I talked a little bit about Scott and AltFee. Shout out to that company that's really helping on the law firm side, because it gives them it's technology just basically establishing a process to how that you can get to a good arrangement and a good fixed fee. But do you want to talk a little bit about what were the results and how Indian law firms are thinking about the use of technology, specifically around this idea of billing? Of course, there's billing software, there's legal spend management, there's legal predictive spend management in terms of analyzing, giving you reports. I mean, there's so much out there to help both sides get a better understanding of what does this actually cost and what is the
Right.
value to this in some sense.
So I will confess that I am not like a tech sort of very tech, like I'm not one of those early adopters of tech. So I'm not most of what I know is through conversations I've had, with the community, with some, former clients, etc. So I would say yes, definitely law firms are looking at it seriously. Is it at par with global markets? Probably not yet. Because to be honest, I think, so from the client side, there is a preference, right? Everything stems from that, honestly. Otherwise, law firms won't really be moved to really rethink their billing structures in the first place, or anything. So yes, somewhere the client knows that with technology coming in, a lot of tasks, can be automated, at the bare minimum. The bigger companies, I know, they have really robust internal in-house teams now, and they've anyway stopped going to law firms for stuff like compliance, some due diligence, and stuff that can be done in-house, because they also themselves are using some sort of tools. So obviously there is an expectation that they have from their firms, that firms should adopt technology to make tasks, basically to be more efficient, right? And the idea is to reward for efficiency. But still, I feel, this is a personal opinion, I feel that expectation is still from the mid-tier or the startup firms, or the the ones that are seen to be maybe more agile, cost effective, more adaptive. Not so much, I really don't think tier 1 firms are under that pressure, because they anyway get a lot of work. Most of the MNCs go to them anyway for mandates. They have the budgets. So for them, I think it's not, again, this is the personal opinion. This is what I have observed. I think this is not, for them, it's not, I mean, yes, they are doing a lot of stuff, but I think the pressure is more, one level low. But it's slowly happening. Like uh, now the thing is for the firm to figure out how to structure, how to structure the team, how to estimate costs, if whether it's billable hours or hybrid or fixed fee or whatever. Ultimately, the idea is the scoping has to be done properly, and therefore the projection of the effort in whatever model it is, that is the point. So I think firms need to get better with scoping, and yes, of course, it's in their benefit if they use technology, because nobody wants to do low latitude tasks. Everybody wants to do interesting, complex, valuable work. So it's a win-win both sides. But again, I mean, there are a lot of dynamics, and it's going to take some time to. So, legal tech is, I mean, it's buzzing here. There is so much going on, and whatever I follow in terms of technology, I feel generally Indians are quite innovative. So, there's a lot going on. It's just that it's going to take its time to really penetrate, the legal industry. Yeah.
Totally. Well, I can add an extra layer here, and then we're gonna go to our, and then we're gonna, I think, wrap up a little bit with our last, which is really where is all of this going? Where do you think it's going? But I'll add for our viewers out there, three pieces of technology specifically for packaging, billing, and understanding the analytics. I get to learn and meet so many different legal technology companies there, and I've had over the last decade that I've now been doing this, getting the chance to really meet some great people who are thinking really about money and flowing. And for all of you out there, this is a way to think about it. If you are a law firm, there are companies, of course, your billing and financial software that can really help you produce bills and do it more efficiently. I think most people understand now that there is billing software and financial software that can help you automate that. One layer above that is, of course, if you want to start to go into fixed fees, there are companies and technology companies now, like I mentioned, AltFeed, that can really start to help you go through a process and get an understanding about what things actually cost, so that you can actually quote things in a flat rate fee without saying, "Wow, I'm I have all the risk," effectively. It doesn't actually have to be. Technology can actually help you right size it and scope it out based on that. Now, you still have to have the conversation with your client. You do, quite frankly, and you need to have an honest, upfront conversation about what you think, what can happen. But companies like AltFeed can help there. Uh, on the client side, there are basically two types of technology companies now. Ones that look at your historic spend and basically do a cost benefit analysis and say, this is what we spent, and this is the risk, this was the value based on this spend, so that you can start to determine budgets and look at where that spend is going. And then the last is companies that can do analysis on finding the best law firm for you based on the type of risk that you are going, and just making sure that your panel, you're getting the most effective. So this would be comparing across different law firms and making sure that they're all sort of competitive, and that you are normalizing the rates across all of that. So much technology there, but effectively, technology is just give it data and it will give you back insights by looking through things, and that's really what it's about. But with those two sides coming together, they can really start to have honest conversations. The clients can understand what is my risk tolerance and where would I be willing relative to the competition, and law firms can come and say, this is what we're willing to take on in terms of spend. And then to your point, thinking about how can I make this efficient so that I can still make this profitable? Because companies, this was another thing from Scott, and this is a whole other conversation. It's not like companies don't want their law firms to be profitable, because they need the law firms to continue existing. They don't want to drive everybody out of business. That's not in anybody's benefit. So it's just really a matter of having a more long-term view and getting to what is, I guess we can call it fair or rational or what makes sense for everybody involved. So why don't we wrap up here? We're getting to kind of the end here. Why don't we talk a little bit about forecasting and where maybe you think the entire disruption is going? In one sense, you talked already a little bit about it. It's all here, but how fast will it go through the adoption curve of things in India? And maybe you can just speak to that.
I think maybe in the next 5 years we would see things change massively. Like, so for example, if I just look at, because in the last so I was at a tier law firm which I left in 2000 and was it, I think, 17, where they didn't even have a website, right? They only had a landing page. Like, that's it. We just gave the addresses, and there was, because there is a lot of regulation here, in terms of soliciting work and all that. From then to now, we're in 2023. Things have like massively changed. That's the first thing a firm does now when they start ops, is that we need to have a website, social media, law firm marketing. So just seeing that, how things have like really blown up. I think that legal tech adoption, and also along with that, the way billing is being, so it won't be legal tech adoption, yes, but it won't translate as quickly into billing, because law firms need time to restructure, to think about things, to figure out a way to be profitable, and they also need a lot of volume to be able to gain, benefits that they can pass on to their clients. So it's not going to go at the same pace. Also, I think one thing which would be interesting to sort of observe is what happens with the entry of foreign law firms into India, because that's a big talking point now. In a sense, they're anyway doing a lot of work here, but with the market opening up officially, let's see what happens to legal tech adoption. I feel that pricing may go up, like it may be in the benefit of lawyers, because sort of to maintain that parity and sort of come to a standard, it may be possible that lawyers could, be charging more. So let's see. And I think at the core of all of this is basically understanding that how do we define and determine the value that a legal professional is bringing to the table. As long as we keep quantifying it in terms of time, then we can't really move away from the billable hour. And as technology penetrates tasks more and more, therefore the value of that time is going to reduce. So, so I think I don't really know what the answer is, but I feel the currency right now is time, and that needs to change for for real change to come about, and then eventually for it to become, win-win for everybody. So, yeah.
Yes, yes. So a paradigm shift in some sense, a mini paradigm shift, let's say. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lavanya, I think I've taken more than enough of your time. It was so nice to talk to you. Again, it's been a long time coming. Do you want to tell a little bit about the reports and where people can go for LawWiser? We'll put it in the show notes, lawwiser.com. Great stuff. But yeah, tell us more about the report.
So the report is already released. We did a launch event in April, and it's actually available to download from our website. You can just go register, give your email ID, and you'll be sent a link. Do check your spam. It goes into spam sometimes. But yeah, right now it's freely available for anybody to, kind of, and it's quite a interesting, crisp report, not too long. So hopefully it's packed up with some useful insights for firms.
That'll be amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the Fireside Chat, and thank you everybody else. We will be back very, very soon with another conversation. In the meantime, take care. Think about your billing. It's think about win-win situations. I think that was the takeaway from me. And thank you so much, Lavanya. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Ben. Take care.